Hey keto people, I have a very important question for you today. Now listen up and think about this carefully because everything's riding on your answer. Are you someone who wants cakey brownies or do you prefer your brownies nice and fudgy? Well, if you said fudgy, you're in luck because today we're making my fudgy keto brownies. Now, if you love brownies, you're gonna love this recipe. It's easy to make, it uses only one bowl, and it has a secret ingredient that makes them extra fudgy. So here I have half a cup butter, and I've already melted it in the microwave. And I'm going to add 2/3 cup of Swerve sweetener. We're just gonna whisk that in. And now we're gonna add 3 eggs. And half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Just break up your eggs and whisk it all together. Now we can whisk in our dry ingredients, and so I have half a cup of almond flour here. Now if you need to be nut-free, a good replacement for the almond flour is sunflower seed flour. And we're also going to add 1/3 cup of cocoa powder. I like to use the darker Dutch cocoa powder. I feel like it gives it more chocolatey flavor. Now we're going to add the secret ingredient. In here I have 1 tablespoon of grass-fed gelatin. This is what actually helps give the brownies a chewiness. Now I get a lot of questions about what kind of gelatin I recommend for these brownies. If you can get your hands on it, I recommend the grass-fed kind, and the one I am using is from Great Lakes. It's in the orange can. If you can't get grass-fed gelatin, you can use the kind of gelatin that comes in envelopes, like the Knox gelatin at the grocery store. You only need 1 envelope to replace what I've put in here. We're also going to add half a teaspoon of baking powder and a touch of salt, and we're going to whisk these in. So you can see here that my brownie batter is very, very thick, and I'm actually having trouble whisking it together. Some of this depends on what cocoa powder you use, as some are a little more absorbent than others. But I need to thin my batter out a bit, so I'm going to add some liquid. You could really do any liquid here. You could add water, you could add almond milk. I'm actually going to use a little leftover coffee from this morning. And I'm going to use about 1/4 cup. Again, you want to adjust as you go here. So if your batter is thinner from the beginning, just add a little bit or no liquid at all. So this is looking a lot better now. You can see I can move my whisk much more easily through it, and it looks like proper brownie batter. Now we're ready to go ahead and put it in our pan. You really do want to use a metal pan for brownies like this. Glass and ceramic don't actually conduct heat nearly as easily, and so your brownies take a lot longer to bake. So let's just go ahead and pour this right into our baking pan. And we want to make sure we spread it to the edges. And then I like to shake the pan a little back and forth to even out the batter. Now you can have some fun customizing your keto brownies. You could put some chocolate chips on top, just sprinkle them nicely on top. You could sprinkle them with white chocolate chips. You could put in some nuts. These are walnuts or pecans. And you can even do something like a little swirl of peanut butter or Nutella or whatever you like. Because I know my kids like them, I'm gonna do just a handful of chocolate chips on top. So now our keto brownies are ready for the oven, and they go in at 350 for 15 to 20 minutes. Now I like to take them out when they're just still a tiny bit wet in the center, which means they'll be fudgier. If you want yours a little more cakey, you can leave them in a little longer. Hooray, kids, our brownies are done. They are out of the oven, and I've actually let these cool for about 40 minutes. And now we can cut into them, and you can see how delicious and fudgy they are. They're soft in the center, but they're nice and kind of firm around the edges, so the people who like the crispy bits can have those too. This recipe is actually featured in my new book, The Ultimate Guide to Keto Baking. If you want all the best tips on how to make the best desserts and best baked goods, this is the book for you. You can also check out my blog, alldayidreamaboutfood.com.